Sorry. All right, we're live. So today I wanted to get curious with a friend of mine about a gambler's perspective on college football. And again, I'm not a gambler myself, but I'm fascinated on this perspective on you look at the world differently, and you especially you look at sports differently. So I'm really curious, not even about gambling necessarily on the college football. You can go there if you want, but really what is your take on some of these big issues coming into college football this year? And I've got 3 questions for you. I'm just kind of curious, again, what your perspective is on these from a gambler's perspective. And the first question I have is this year, instead of the 4-team playoff format like we had in the past, we're going to a 12-team format. And so you're already shaking your head. So I'm curious, what is your take on the 12-team versus the 4-team college playoff format?
The 12-team, I think, greatly dilutes it. I think they're trying to, be more inclusive in college football and allow more teams like the NCAA tournament has done with going from 64 to 68. This is trying to save coaches' jobs, give fans something more to look forward to in the postseason. Is the 12 seed going to win a national championship? Most of the time, no. I'm more of it should just be conference champions playing each other to determine who the best team is what's the point of even playing these conference championship games if it doesn't matter? Like TCU made the playoff last year when they didn't win the Big 12. Kansas State did.
And then it proved out in the playoffs.
I mean, what are we doing playing those conference championships when you can win your conference championship and another team that you beat make the playoffs? So we're heading more towards that, and I'm against that. I see college football going to an NFL-style model where it's going to be the SEC versus the Big Ten are going to play every year for the national championship. It'll be Fox is going to have the Big Ten. ESPN will have the SEC. It's going to be like the AFC and NFC in the NFL where one network controls an entire league. Then those 2 teams will meet up to play for the national championship every year. So while they're expanding now, I think it contracts 5 years from now to simply the winner of the Big Ten versus the winner of the SEC.
Let me pause real quickly because that's fascinating. You're blowing this Big 8 boy's mind. So I remember, again, I'm old enough. I remember the days of the Big 8 and all of these.
Sure.
There was chaos, but that was kind of the attraction to college football is every year, even though there was a champion, there was always most years it seemed to be debate around if they were the real champion or anything else. And while that was frustrating, kind of like the measurements versus the metric system we have in the United States, it attracted something that made it unique, or it was weird. That frustration almost made it worthwhile in some ways. And what you're saying is we're going the opposite direction. But why I wanted to pause is because something I hadn't really heard before is this idea of all of these different conferences really just boiling down to 2, like an AFC and an NFC. And it's wild too, because I remember when I was young listening to old people talk about the old AFC days and the NFC, and you're a Chiefs fan, so you know this. And I couldn't even conceive what national football, what professional football would be like with 2 different leagues, because you grow up all where they're always together. So like my son is going to grow up in a world potentially where all he knows is college football of being just 2 dominant leagues. Interesting. And of course, there's like a money play behind it. There's a media play behind it, that it's not about necessarily college athletes. It's about how can the networks best benefit from the eyeballs or the attraction to college.
Exactly.
But how does that fit into gambling, and from a gambler's perspective, where
I think it's going to create more opportunities. TV, is driven by gambling. That's been, the thing that's been swept under the rug for so long. I don't think I've heard
before.
But the biggest reason that there's more eyeballs than ever on sports, and why every TV company wants to have sports broadcasting rights, is for gamblers. They will watch till the end of the game to see who covers the spread. If a team is up by 35 in the 4th quarter of a college football game, you're like, they're probably winning this game. But what if the spread's 27.5?
Yeah. And I suppose
you're going to watch till the end to see if that other team tries to come back and cover.
And I suppose
now would normally click that off.
Yeah. And with legalized gambling, this is only going to become more apparent, let's say, probably, right? Because it's more people are going to be able to participate. They don't have to talk about it so secretly, right? It can be more at the forefront interest. And so I'm curious, and we're going to dive into this a little later. I got 2 more questions we're going to do some follow-up videos on, but I'd also like to dive deeper with you on future, conversations about what the future of media will look like based on an influence from the gambling world. Because that's something that I don't know, but I'm curious to wonder and to kind of find out more about what that future could look like when gambling interest, let's say, becomes more of a direct influence on the media we consume. Wow. Well, thanks again for getting curious here. We're going to have some more follow-up videos with the other questions I have for you. But thanks for sharing at least a little bit on the gambler's perspective on the 12-team college football playoff. I can't even say it. It's a hard one to put out there. Thanks. Hey, where can people follow you, Matt Fischer? And where can they connect with you?
At the Matt Fischer on X, formerly known as Twitter.
All right. All right. At Matt Fischer. Look him up. And we're going to have some more conversations. Stay curious. Have a great day.
Thank you.